Hello everyone and welcome to the data storytelling module of the Digital Passport to Youth Leadership. I am thrilled to have you all here today. I am Jose Mauricio Duque and I am from Barranquilla, Colombia, and I work for the Biz Nation. Over the next few lessons, we'll embark on an exciting journey where you will learn how to transform raw data into compelling stories that can inform, inspire, and drive positive change. By the end of this course, you will be equipped with the skills to understand the fundamentals of data storytelling, craft impactful narrative using data, visualize data effectively, and finally, present your data stories with confidence. Now we're going to see the importance of data storytelling. In today's data-driven world, the ability to tell stories with data is more important than ever. Whether you are advocating for a cause, presenting a research, or making a business case, data storytelling can amplify your message and engage your audience on a deeper level. So data is abundant but not always accessible. We have all these numbers of all this raw data, but it's not easy to comprehend. So here when storytelling bridge the gap between data and understanding, it makes it easy to grasp, to understand, to digest. And finally, it empowers you to inform, inspire, and drive positive change. So, what exactly is data storytelling? Data storytelling is the practice of blending data, visuals, and narrative to communicate insights in a way that resonates with your audience. It goes beyond just presenting numbers and facts. It's about weaving those facts into a story that highlights the significance of the data and compels your audience to take action. So you can see here in the graphic how the three elements mix together, and in the intersection we got the storytelling. That's the narrative which compels our audience to take action, to feel related. So that's why it goes beyond numbers and facts to tell why it matters. Okay, so here we have the three components of data storytelling. They are data, which is the factual evidence or statistic that form the backbone of your story. Secondly, we have visuals that can be charts, graphs, images, or infographics that helps illustrate the data clearly. And finally, we have the narrative, the engaging storyline that connects the data and visuals and provide context and meaning. Remember what I said in the slide before, why it matters for the reader. Here we have a little graphic which I like. It's representing what I have told before. I have like just a piece of data that's not a data story. You could have several pieces, data, graphics, but that's also not a data story. It becomes a data story with storytelling when you mix the three aspects together that we were mentioning before: data, visual, and narrative. So what's the difference between data storytelling versus data reporting? They are not the same. It is important to distinguish data storytelling from data reporting. While data reporting involves presenting data in a straightforward and often technical manner, like in spreadsheets or detailed reports, data storytelling focuses on making that data accessible and engaging through a narrative structure. We're going to see more of that after this. Data reporting tells you what the data is. Data storytelling tells you why it matters. So here we are in these two columns. First, we have data reporting, And it says it presents data in a straightforward and technical manner, as I was saying, numbers, statistics, raw data, spreadsheet. And in the other column, we see the difference. In data storytelling, we make that data accessible and engaging through a narrative. We go back to data reporting. It focuses on the what of the data is, while data storytelling focuses on the why the data matters, why it's important for the reader, for the audience, why they have to take action, why they have to be on emotional level involved, right? So let's go to see the power of stories in data. Stories make data relatable, so it connects data to real life experiences. It makes it memorable, enhance retention of information because we have already relate to that information. We have a connection. So that's why it makes imprint in our memory and it makes it memorable. It lasts in our mind, in our minds, in our hearts. And that's why when we have those two components together, relatable and memorable, it can make action. So it motivates the audience to engage or act. So this is beautiful. That's the power of stories in data because we want to our audience, our actors to take action, not just to be with the data and no action. That doesn't happen. That's right. So right now we're going to see an example of an impactful data story. We're going to see first the statistic alone and the difference it makes when we tell a story. We're going to see two examples, right? So the first one, we are presenting the statistics alone. Here we are saying 78.5 million people lack access to clean water. That's the statistic alone. It doesn't say much. And we have on the right a nice graphic saying the global access to clean water, which is 10%, and people lacking access to clean water and people access with no access to clean water. So the majority of people lack access, right? Now we're going to see an example telling a story. This is a very brief example. So with a story, now imagine hearing the story of Amina, a young girl who walks miles each day to fetch water for her family, missing school and risking her safety. Her story puts a face into the statistics, into the number, and makes the data tangible and prompting a stronger emotional response. So we are going to take this data and make it impactful. How? We're telling a story, we're putting a face on it, and we are telling why this lack of water affects what the impact it has in this example, in this community, in this person. So it makes it more relatable. We can see how it affects her education, how it affects her safety, and the impact it generates is that personalize the data and evokes empathy and highlight the urgency. That's what we want in the end. We want action, urgency. Here we have another example. Here is just the statistic alone. In this example, we are using climate change. This is a graph showing the rising CO2 levels, which is informative, but we are not telling a story. If we couple this statistic with a story, for example, this, we can see communities being displaced by the flooding, how affects farmers facing droughts that impacts their livelihood. We can make an impact and make the climate change data tangible and urgent. That's what we want. So how stories enhance data? Stories tap into our emotions and experiences, making complex or abstract data easier to understand, to relate, to grasp, to be memorable, and to take action. So they create connection. Stories can help the audience see the relevance of the data in real-life context. Enhance retention. People are more likely to remember information presented within a story. And finally, motivates action. A compelling narrative can inspire people to engage, share, or act upon the information. But by integrating data into storytelling, you transform numbers into meaningful insights that can influence opinion and drive change. Here we have the summary of the today's lesson. We have covered the definition and components of data storytelling, which data storytelling combines data, visual, and narrative to communicate insights effectively. The difference between data storytelling and data reporting. It differs from data reporting by focusing on the why behind the data, not just the what, as data reporting. The power of integrating stories with data for greater impact. Stories enhance the impact of data by making it more relatable and memorable. As we wrap up this introduction to data storytelling, I encourage you to start thinking about the stories you can tell with data in your own work or community projects. In our next lesson, we'll dive into crafting your own data story. We'll explore how to identify your audience and define your key message, crucial steps that lay the foundation for any compelling narrative. By understanding who you are speaking to and what you want to convey, you'll be better equipped to create stories that truly resonate and drive meaningful action. So get ready to embark on the next phase of our journey. We will turn the concepts we have discussed today into practical skills you can apply immediately. Thank you for your participation today, and I look forward to continuing this exciting journey. But before we go, here we have a reflection, some points I would like you to reflect upon to consider. Think about what data do you have access to? What stories you can tell with your data? And finally, how can your data story make a difference in your community? Thank you so much, guys, and see you in the next lesson.